And now, it's time for Healing from Within with your host, Tony Valen.
Welcome to Healing from Within. I'm your host, Tony Valen. You can contact me, Tony, at TonyValen.com. Visit our website, healingfromwithin.net. Follow us on Twitter, at TVHFW. Before starting the show, here are a few words from one of our previous guests.
Hi, this is Carolyn Pucket here on behalf of Healing from Within with Tony Valen on Blog Talk Radio. Miracles with the Ascended Masters. Question. Looking around our world, do you notice the discord? While evolution is apparent in many areas, many other areas are still with lack of peace, lack of supply, lack of higher knowledge and faith, and lack of love. How can you change your world from where you are? Answer. Step 1. Connect to your higher self by feeling the energetic connection. Your higher self or I Am presence is above you, connected to your higher guides and goes wherever you go. Reconnect to it now and stay connected to it. Step 2. Let the energy of your I Am presence flow into you, surrounding you with a light of perfection and protection. Step 3. Invoke the violet flame, which is a cosmic vibration of light, higher than anything on earth. It is a divine gift brought to earth through portals, angels, and ascended masters. It is the greatest tool available for transmutation of any lower vibrational energies back to the light of divine love. I will teach you how to do this simply right now. Inhale. Connect to your higher self. Exhale, ground your energies into the mantle of Mother Earth. Inhale. Decree with me now. Violet flame, flow through me now with your powerful vibrational energy. Transmute any negative thoughts, feelings, actions, and desires in myself and world. Purify and raise the vibration to the highest divine love. I am grateful. I am love. I am. Again, this is Carolyn Pucket here on behalf of Healing from Within with Tony Valen on Blog Talk Radio. You can contact me at blissmyofascialrelease.com. Until next time, listeners.
Joining us on today's show is Mystic Bill Bowers. You can get more information about Bill on his website, BillBowersGuidance.com. You can email him directly, chakrablue14@yahoo.com, CHAKRABLUE14@yahoo.com, or call him directly, 828-216-9039. So, Bill, can you tell us what dowsing is?
Dowsing is the ability to use instruments, graphs, charts and pendulums, and sound to accomplish 4 things. Assess and search where the blocks are present in any aspect of your life. To find the source of the blocks. To measure its degree of interference. And then I use the tools and clear and dissipate the stagnated energy. Most of the time it's long distance. You transmute the energy into positive, supportive situations. And so these things can be measured diagnostically with charts and the pendulum. I get the person's permission to work on the subject, and it can be anything from personal health to interactions on a job, measuring honesty of people. There's nothing that cannot be measured as far as graphs and the pendulums for dowsing, but the dowsing system itself is meant to take energy that's negative and transmute it into positive so things flow better.
Wonderful.
I've had about 85% results with this.
Awesome. So if someone was to call you to make an appointment with you, can you walk us through the steps of what happens as, you progress?
Yep, sure. I take down the person's name, date, time and date of birth. And also, when I get permission for them to do the assessment, we talk about a specific thing that they have on their mind or an overall general of why things are stagnating for them. Okay? Then in the different categories that I have on the wheel and on the charts, it's a grafted wheel with numbers and degrees. Then we have the categories. We get to measure something. For instance, if someone's having a hard time making friends and or making money, whatever it is, and they feel blocked, we find out that it could be that their self-sabotage 75% negative of a belief that they can't have. And when they find that out and it's made known to them, I turn around and then I can give them the energy frequency that I send to them long distance to dissipate it. Okay? So we come up with the contract and the amount of time it would take me to do it. I ask permission of the person's soul, because sometimes other people are involved. If you're in a lawsuit, you've got the judge and the lawyers and the opponent's opposing side, we can measure the amount of discord and lack of harmony. If a property isn't selling and they want to sell it, it may not be in their best interest to sell. We look at all those things. The more detailed the question, the deeper I can measure its frequency and its charge, positive or negative. And Tony, what's so great about it is I've worked on cases of autism, bipolar, marriage situations, health issues, even measuring the honesty of companies and able to see a difference. Even in a heated argument, people will call and say, can you help? And this long distance frequency work, which is sent, much like a cell phone signal, to the object, to the person, to the situation, really brings it into harmony. So I come in and be the janitor who does the deep cleaning, and then it's up to the client to not track mud in the house after, to take care of it after I clear it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know that in a discussion you and I had, you told me that there are times when the person's soul will not give you permission to make that clearing or whatever. What is the reason for that? Why would a soul deny that healing?
That's a good question. Let's say there's a husband coming to me or an individual coming to me with about relationships in the family. Can I help such and such or this person or the other partner? Sometimes I ask, is it in my best interest to take on the job? And I get yes or no. And then I ask, do I have the permission of the soul not present to douse for them? Most of the time it's right. But when it's a no, it's because that person's not ready nor wants help. Much like approaching someone who has a drinking problem but won't admit it to themselves yet. You might approach them and say, would you like some help? I don't need help. It's a soul blockage that I cannot touch. Because to interfere with anybody without permission is voodoo. And that's not right.
Absolutely. That brings in negativity, I would guess.
And it comes back on me.
That's terrible. What about people that would approach you? I know there are certain people that have asked me. I never really know how to respond. They feel like someone has put a spell on them, or I had this one person come up to me and ask me, I think something's wrong. Someone's done something to me because I can't find a job. Ever since I divorced my husband, I just, nothing's going right for me. The car broke down. I'm depressed. Are there spells out there, or what do you think of that?
Absolutely. The connotation of the word, a spell, seems old school, seems like witchcraft and voodoo, and although that is possible, it's been measured by someone's body testing and muscle testing, that if even someone's being gossiped against, like talked behind their back, stabbed in the back, they actually do feel that without being aware, without psychic protection, without being aware of their own ability to protect that. For instance, if you knew you're eating a food that is tearing down your immune system, once you know, you're not going to partake. But people have been tested just in experiments of muscle testing, where people would send someone behind their back without any even knowing what's going on, like a thumbs down, and they would become weak. So speech and belief does weaken the body, thus curses and hexes. And if you look at Facebook and you look at the media and the amount of aggravated opinions going to the 10th power, we're all feeling the results of the cursing, of the negativity, of not going to the light.
You mentioned working with charts. Can you tell us what type of chart you use? It is an astrological chart, or is it another type of chart? Or what's the chart that you use?
Well, I studied under an international dowser. I took one weekend class of his in 2006, Raymon Grace. But there are many people that do dowsing. Now, a dowsing wheel is a circle within a circle, and it's got degrees of numbers. That's all it does. And those numbers correlate with the list of the categories. So if there's 68 categories, there'll be 68 numbers on the wheel, and it will point to, from the center, the category that needs to be worked on. So it's all numbers, and it's graphs, much like longitude, latitude. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And so, to be a little more specific, so does it differ from an astrological chart in the dowsing chart?
Well, it's great because yes and no. It does differ, but the categories don't. In other words, if I show that someone has had a lot of grief from someone that's passed, and it's like 80% grief, astrologically, you can see also that probably where they are at that time of their life is also part of it. So it's always in harmony with, though it's a different tool.
Got it. If someone wanted to contact you for a free diagnostic, what's the best way to reach you?
Best way to reach me for any of the things I do, mediumship, tarot reading, the dowsing situation, and the other things that I'll be coming up with soon, my books. The best way to reach me is through my website, billbowersguidance.com, or they can email me at chakrablue14@yahoo. That's chakras of the body, CHAKRA, color blue, chakrablue14@yahoo.
And the number 14, not spelled
Number
out.
14.
14,
Right.
got it.
But I'm on Facebook and also Bill Bowers Guidance. You can like my page there. And sure, by all means, call and let's find out what's going on. Let's really get to a really good worked up and composite of the issues you're dealing with. We're at a time when people are having awakenings, health issues resolved much faster because we're needing to. I mean, talk about astrology. Right now, this last 2 years, the planets have not given us a break.
Yeah.
We're getting hit with all kinds of retroactives and retrogrades and alignments and conjunctions. And it's amazing in the last year, 2 years, how that's sped up. So tools like dowsing, I'd like it to be more mainstream where people can start using their pendulums at home and work on things they can for themselves. Which brings me to my having to design a new beginner starter kit for dowsing.
Oh, really?
Working on that next, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's an exciting time for me.
Is there a phone number that you want to put out for people to call you?
828-216-9039.
Perfect. I also understand that you have a new book coming out shortly.
I do.
Can you give us the title of the book and what it's about?
The title of the book is called The Book of Guidance, and it's a divination tool. It's a flip book. For 10 years, I had white cards that had an answer or a response or like a proverb on them, and I would use them in my readings. People would ask a question and pick the card. That's essence what this book is. This book is going to be a book that you can hold in your hands, ask a question within, and turn to the page to the answer. And most of the time, a good part of the time, it is exactly what you needed to hear. What I like about it, it's a way of self-guiding every day without having to go outside yourselves and ask someone else. But there's 84 answers to that book, the Book of Guidance. And it comes from 30 years of every question that any person has ever asked me before that's dealing with life issues. So I'm very excited about it.
Absolutely. This is Tony with Healing from Within. You can contact me directly, Tony@TonyValen.com. Visit our website, healingfromwithin.net. Follow us on Twitter, @TVHFW. Now, Bill, is this the only book that you're putting out, or are there other books that you have in the future?
Yeah, I was sitting with some friends having brunch on Sunday a couple of months ago, and a book title came to me, downloaded right into my ear, into my head. The next book I'm writing is about where we're going as far as religion and spirituality. That book is titled Reconstructing God. And what it is, like anything that has to be renovated, if you look throughout all history, current situations now, everyone has a religion, everybody has an opinion, and yet we've had centuries of war. So I've been given kind of instruction from all my history in religion, my studies of all different faiths and religions, what has to be remodeled and changed so that we have a more efficient upgrade of what that is, reconstructing our beliefs. And it's being downloaded not only from my own personal life experience at 61, but pulling from other authors who have come to the same conclusions about where we're headed at this time. And it's very timely because it's going to appeal to atheists as well as people of different faiths, as well as for young people who are looking for what to do next in their spiritual life.
When I'm going to ask you a couple of words, some words, and I want you to tell me what your thoughts are on what do you think of and what do you have to say when I say religion?
Religion is the Hebrew word, or the Greek word for religion was religio, and it would mean to link back. That's the Hebrew word. In the Greek word, religio is to bound. And so religion has become a construction of values that have been concretized. And what's happening with that is it becomes a modality and a practice rather than a living organic application. And that's why, isn't it interesting, the title of my book is Reconstructing God, reconstructing what works.
Absolutely. Which that was my next question. What does God mean to you?
I'm going to hold that for the book, but in reality, everything we think God is, that and more. If I talk to you about a great friend of mine who's very, very wise, and I tell you all these different situations about him, and someone else will say to you about that individual, that person is very, very mistrusting and harmful and punitive and judgmental, it would be the same individual. So God as a word has become obsolete because there's been way too much false reputation or assignment by others who tell the story of what God is. And in that book, which I'm halfway through and I'm getting it written, an amazing resolution of what the answer to that question is.
Absolutely. Where can people get your books? Where can you find your books?
Well, we're looking at different publications. The Book of Guidance will probably be on Amazon, and that will be released October 1st. That's a month from now. So we're in the throes of doing that as well. But on my website, come back to my website or Facebook page, and we'll have the information there.
Perfect. What do you think of when about death and physical death of someone? Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on that?
That's a big chapter in the book. The death of, it's recycling. It is transmuting. It's been proven that even dead leaves break down and then become recycled in the earth to be reused again. We recognize that although a lot of the last couple of centuries about death being finality, more and more proof is shown that that's not the case. So it's a reconstructing again. It's starting over again. I think Eckhart Tolle's version or his description of religion and death in Stillness Speaks is a great analogy. But we also know from what they've studied regarding the physical death that it is just changing the unit or the carbon copy, the carcass we're in, but that the soul and the life continues on somewhere else. And when you think about it, how many times a day do our cells die and new ones are replenished?
Yeah.
I like how Amma puts it, the hugging saint. She said, death is a period at the end of the sentence, and then another sentence starts.
Wow. That's amazing. I like that. You work as a psychic medium.
I do.
And how do you connect with spirit, or what are your thoughts on that? I ask every person that I interview that tells me they're a medium, what's your way of connecting with spirit, and walk us through your method.
There are 5 psychic senses, and we're all prone towards one or the other. Now, as I told you, I had been an artist 28 years before I came on to this part of my ability, which we all have. We have organs and glands in our body that receive and send information. So clairvoyant is you see pictures in your head, and everybody listening right now could visualize a red apple in their mind while they're listening, and it's there. For those of you who can't, there's clairaudient, where you hear yourself talk to yourself. And when you talk to yourself, it's in your voice. However, imagine your relative who has passed talking to you, and you could hear them in your head. That's a small example of how you communicate. In your gut, you know someone's lying to you or not telling you everything. In your gut, you hear someone's voice, you can feel in your body that they're nervous or something's bothering them or they've got something really great to say. Those are all those heightened senses that we have built in us to receive communication from non-physical.
Got it. And how do you, just a question, are you always on, or do you take time to just totally chill out and just be a person with your friends and joke around and laugh or whatever? Or do you feel like you're always locked in and, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Well, there's a different volume to how much activity a person wants to get involved with. I love a lot of beach time and quiet time during the day. And to the degree that you want to raise the volume of life, or just like sound on a music being played, sometimes you want it silent. Stillness and still point in meditation is when we're on screensaver and we're resting. And even in sleep, we're busy, aren't we? We're busy dreaming, the body's still eliminating, we're doing all those things. So consciousness has its different degrees. But the reason why there's such a surge of a need for yoga and meditation for people, especially meditation, is to clear the mind from the extra activity so the lower vibrational brain waves can rest and replenish. Let's face it, when we're sleeping, we do a lot of restorative work. So, I can turn things off and on, much like I can change the station and change the radio, and I can decide not to invite someone in the house in my mind or not. Most importantly, though, is, and this is a good question, I'm glad you asked it because I'm getting a message now. Source energy, God, highest power, is never turned off. It is the most powerful and the most quietest, but it is never turned off.
We just don't listen to it. Absolutely. What other tools and what other things do you have to offer people that you want to tell us about?
Well, I offer tarot readings. I offer just counseling in general. I offer not only mediumship, but just sort of like a game plan with what to do for career direction, whatever anybody needs. I also now have tools that I'm developing. Not only the 2 books are coming out, but I have a small line of Ray blend. I call them Radiant Energy Infused Aromatherapy blends. 4 of them. One is for mental health, mental clarity. One is for attracting love. The other is to open up spiritual gates. They're spritzers, and they're very, very rare to come by, the ingredients that are in them. And also one for grief and sadness. The other thing I have is I now am, I have a line of Australian bush flowers. These flower essences are used in a homeopathic way as tinctures. They're the products that come from Australia, and to be able to pick the right combination blends for people for many, many emotional and physical. So there's all kinds of tools. And I have access to a lot of people that need to be put in the forefront of their services. There's a lot of good healing stuff going on. A lot of good stuff. So the amount of tools I have available per person is such a joy because I do the research and find a new one every month.
Wonderful. Bill, if someone wants to, get some of the stuff that you offer, where can they get that stuff? Through your website as well?
Yep, everything's going to be on the website, and we will be doing as much promotion as we can with our social media. And above all, what's really sweet about all of this, Tony, after doing all these years of pastoral counseling and healing services, word of mouth has always been the best, because when people have an experience, they share.
Absolutely.
And that's where I seem to get. I do very little advertising, if any. And I've been kept busy all this time because of the quality of my intent of it being for a person's opening up to their own divinity.
Yeah. Awesome. I also know that you have a newsletter. Can you tell people about your newsletter? No.
Stop the newsletter
You
for
did
now
stop.
because we're doing just the Facebook page. Yeah, I decided to close that off because I figured it's redundant to do it twice.
I
With
agree.
social media now, it's being, along with everything else I'm doing, we have videos may come out. Just not enough days in the hour, and the possibilities are endless.
Right.
And time is fun when you're having flies.
Yep.
The deal is to be the god of my weekly planner and make sure that we pace this so it comes not in my time because I'm kind of a rush, let's get it done.
Yeah.
Spirit's going much slower and allowing it to develop on its own, which is a lot less stress off of my hide.
Okay.
So I get to use my own tools, my own products, and I'm loving it.
Absolutely. Bill, thank you so much for giving us of your time and experience. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. And I'd like to end by picking one of the quotes from the guidance book for
Absolutely.
the audience player, for those listening. So would it be a really good message for all that are listening now, and hopefully will call and get contact to me later. The message, as I turn the book to, says, today it's a time for a day at the park, the beach, the gym, or spa. Treat yourself at least to a massage. Now, there's a good reminder for us to take care of our physical body.
Mm.
And then another one is, you are doing fine. You have been a source of support to many people. This week, let them in to encourage you. Ask for favors, do you?
Thank you so much. That's wonderful. Our thanks to Bill Bowers. You can get more information about Bill Bowers on his website, billbowersguidance.com. Email him directly, chakrablue14@yahoo.com. Chakra is spelled Chakra, blue, BLUE, 14 @yahoo.com. You are listening to Healing from Within with Tony Valen on Blog Talk Radio, airing Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central. Visit our website, healingfromwithin.net. Contact me directly, Tony@TonyValen.com. Follow us on Twitter @TVHFW. Thank you, and love and light from all of us here at Healing from Within.